expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Friday, the 26th day of March, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zul and Jackie Lambert. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start that watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on Channel 82 or listening on the Full 100 radio station, call someone up and let them know we're on. Just get the conversation out there to your network. And don't forget to like and engage with us. A good one to end the week. We have DJ Rusty G, one of Bermuda's premier DJs, stopping by. The Daily Play is the feud. So number one answers only. And I think we're going to have a PG version of the feud this week. But we must begin. Obviously, I think Bermudians I think they're still excited despite the result. The Bermuda national team played Canada last night, and the final result was 5-1. 5-1. I think I remember. I got to watch it. It was ways to watch it online. I got to watch it, and what are you laughing at?
Because it sounds like you watched the bootleg. You was like, ways to watch it online.
I mean, you know, I had my way of doing things, if you get what I'm saying.
It's a horrible liar, Jackie. It was so obvious.
You should have just drove up.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I found a way to watch it, thanks to the brothers who ensured that us Bermudians who are financially challenged and couldn't afford to watch it in the most traditional of manners got to see the game. But I guess Twitter's always interesting, right? Twitter's always interesting and entertaining, yes, very. But I love to see the responses. Like when I came up, it was that 92 team under Gary Darrell. I believe you had Cantwon, Streaker, Meshack Wade, Kyle Lightbourne, Sean Goda, Elliot Jennings, Sean Smith, and Philip Clark. Those were the players that I knew when I was young, and they were like, you know, just a special team. To this day, I mean, people may say Timmy Dwayne Streak Adams is the best Bermudian goalkeeper I've seen in my lifetime. Like, used to do some things that for his height and size, unbelievable. So when I think of Bermuda football, I always think back to a lot of those players. Obviously, over the football has a very short career as pertains to like something like journalism. Like Carla can do her job till she's 60. Football, you probably got 8 years, if anything, right? I did not even make an old joke.
I was going to make a short joke and stop, but okay, keep going.
See how she is? Saying all that to say, I think when I look at the Bermuda team, the only thing I love to see and expect is effort. And I saw that last night. I don't even remember the number of the player, but he must have took this free kick and it didn't probably beat the first man. And the guy lost the ball, ran back and recovered it. And I'm just like, man, if I saw that kind of effort in Manchester United, I wouldn't have canceled my subscription. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I just want people to understand, because everyone watches football the way they enjoy sport or whatever they do. Not everyone's going to be as technical as a Kenny Thompson and understand the game like that. Not everyone's going to be a huge fan like others, where they're looking at it every day. Some people literally will just watch to support Bermuda. The point and moral of everything I'm saying is we have to manage our expectations. We have to manage our expectations. I remember when the 2020 was going on and Bermuda went down and they performed okay, but they done very poorly as far as results. And Teo and myself were on the radio, literally just trying to get people to calm down. Like this, you're playing people who play cricket for a living the way these guys go to work in Bermuda for a living. So I just think, my only thing to Bermudians is manage our expectations. When we punch above our weight, we have to recognize that, celebrate it, but really come back down to earth and understand what we should expect and who we should expect it from. That's it.
I did see this morning a lot of discussion, and it comes up every few years, at least every year, about should the players be paid, and if they were paid full time, would it be a better performance? So I find it interesting that whenever there's a loss, that topic seems to come up.
Jackie, did you get to see the game?
I didn't get to see this game, but I was updated on the scores continuously with everybody's status updates. I can't remember who it was. I think it was probably Ja, Nadanja and Ja. He's always got good commentary in his statuses.
I will say you can never miss an event when it comes to Bermuda because Bermuda social media it does its job. But I want to switch gears on the game because there were some people that you just didn't notice, like when the sidelines. I'm sure I saw some people on Twitter asking where was Coach Kyle Lightbourne, and
they must not have read the paper.
No, I'm thinking they didn't, Carla. I'm thinking they didn't. Well, let's just inform those who still may not know where the national team coach, the manager, sidelined Kyle Lightbourne, who had hit out, according to the RG headline, at the CMO, which is the chief medical officer, after a positive COVID-19 test. And per the Royal Gazette, basically says Bermuda football coach Kyle Lightbourne smashed through the reporting stigma associated on island with COVID-19 by disclosing to the Royal Gazette today that he felt he has contracted the potentially deadly disease last month. Lightbourne, who did not experience any symptoms during his recovery, was one of the 3 new cases reported by the Bermuda government last Saturday in the wake of a day 10 test that falls outside the day 4, 8, and 14. That is a lot of testing regime, but it's common for those involved in competitive international sport. Long story short, much of his frustrations are directed at the chief medical officer, Ayo Eloy, whom he's accused of having a personal vendetta, right? I'll address that in a second. But I want to go in this comment where, in this article, Coach Lightbourne suggested there's a double standard at play with a nod towards how he perceives rugby's inaugural World 10 Series was treated last October and November. Added, the government is trying its best, but I think it's personal because of the words that were had between myself and contact tracers. Now, just from that bit I read, I guess my question to you all and the audience, what are your thoughts on that article in the RG from Coach Kyle Lightbourne?
My first question was, well, why would he take it on personally with the CMO, right? Why would he say it was a personal vendetta, right? I also think, as a person, I think Kyle's a cool guy. However, I think that this reeks of entitlement and arrogancy. You tested negative, positive on that day 10 or whatever day it was. You have to accept the consequences like everyone else. Mm-hmm. But what stood out to me towards the end of the article is that he's still being allowed to travel. So not allowed to travel, but he's traveling off island. He said he got clearance. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, in one breath, you're talking about the rugby, but then you're still getting the privilege to fly as well. So I sort of bit hypocritical. Maybe I don't understand the inner workings and the politics of it, but as a layperson, it just came across as very arrogant.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that one, Jackie?
It sounds like it's like, I don't like your rules when it comes to everybody else, but I also don't want to follow your rules. Like, I want, special treatment. So hold them to that standard, because I can't believe you didn't hold them to that standard. But when it's now my turn, wait, why are you doing this to me? You didn't do it to everybody else. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just.
So I think when I read this article, and Chico Trotz kind of touches on something here. He also had all negative tests as per the RG. What puzzles me is I think we asked Dr. Karika Weldon last year when she came on the show about how someone can come in and test negative and like 3 times, then positive 4, and she spoke about the false negatives and so on. These are the things that lead to people's frustrations, though. These are the things that lead to people not trusting it. As far as him being entitled, was there a bit of arrogance? Maybe. I think I sensed a bit of it. And that I think comes with the territory. He's the national team coach, but
he's arrogant.
Yeah, I think we all suffer from a bit of swagger, arrogance. Some industries you need it, but I think with Coach Lightbourne, I think he makes valid points, and I think it shouldn't. Bermudians, we have to really consider what's being brought to our attention here, right? Because he didn't necessarily say it, but we can draw our own conclusions
about white sports being treated better.
Being treated better than black sports, right? Now, again, this is not saying that it's true. But if Bermudians don't have to think back too far to see, okay, hold up, back in October, we were doing quite fine. And then now again, the press conference, the politicians and the health professionals have already stated on numerous occasions that the events that took place are not a result of the growing number of cases. But let's look back. In October, you had the golf, right? And then into November, you had the rugby. I think that's what people are going to look at as we enter April and you have the SailGP, right? They're going to. Thank you. And so I think that's people have a right to question things. Is it a matter of looking at what's bringing the island more money over versus everyone following the same rules? We have to ask ourselves these. Tamara Richardson, Carla.
I think we are missing his main point. Kyle had many tests. 1 test was positive, followed by 2 negatives immediately after. How is that even possible? And how many mistakes are absolutely disrupting people's lives, including mistakes of false negatives? I think that's a very valid point.
And that's what I was addressing just now. And since Tamara wrote that, I mean, I was going to say it, and I guess I can now that she has, but it reminds me of the situation with People's Pharmacy last year. And we talked about it on this show where they had someone who had, multiple negative tests, 1 positive, and that's what led to people questioning so much of it. And I just want us to take, there were so many points in what that article with Mr. Lightbourne said, so many different points that I think should have us all asking a lot of questions. Again, maybe his, it was written in a manner where people may feel like, oh, it's entitled. I saw some of the comments underneath, and I'm like, it reminded me of Larry Marshall Sr. and how people would dismiss what he's saying because of how they felt he came across. Look beyond it.
See, and that's where it's tricky reading from that paper. Because I've done interviews because it was Royal Gazette, right? Royal Gazette?
Yes, it was.
I've done interviews with Royal Gazette where I've taken a team to Dominican Republic. I've told them how well the people have played. And then I've had parents call me and message me and attack me because my words were twisted. So, at one point you're like, did he actually say that in that way, in that tone, or did the Royal Gazette switch his words around? So it's also that. No attacking, I'm just saying. I've had this.
I'll look at it from a different perspective, back to what Tammy had just said. And I'm going to make a joke, I'm sorry, but if this story come out a day early, maybe the protest would have had more people, because it does raise the fact of, what do you believe? Do you believe the false negatives? Do you believe the false positives? It ties right into people who think this is all just a bunch of malarkey. You know what I mean? So it does raise credibility issues, and nothing to do with Dr. Weldon, because she's being attacked in some circles, but just the fact is this, and the word that I thought was a bit dramatic when they said this deadly disease, and he's broke protocol by coming out and saying that he had it, and it almost made it as if it was AIDS or something. I'm just like, it's really not that serious.
Probably not the most appropriate.
Sorry, but my apologies. But you know what I mean? Like it just seemed a bit dramatic.
Yeah,
However,
I agree with you that using the word deadly and it's like it adds to the hysteria. I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Panic.
Yeah. Shaz Wolf says, I haven't read the article, but I think from listening, Jamal is correct about which sports should and are supported. Tamara Richardson says, people really are placing full faith in our health team, and that's necessary in a pandemic. However, that doesn't mean they don't make mistakes. Roy Gazette tends to float towards slanting for headlines. Well, Dexter Smith, I believe, wrote the article. I mean, he did put a lot of quotes in there from Coach Lightbourne. And like I said, if you read it for yourself, there are so many different takeaways. And we were discussing one off the air before we came on about the, according to the Gazette quote from him came the decision to change the Aruba match from Bermuda to the US. And obviously there's, games are going to be played in Florida. And I'm just like, I'm not quite sure that a game in Florida is safer than a game in Bermuda. I don't know what was behind the decision, but yeah, I'm probably.
It's like throwing them into a germ pot almost.
I mean, yeah, and this is coming from a person who lives here. I just, yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Shanna Smith, Jackie.
Exactly. I think this is a bigger picture in all this, and there are questions to be raised. Persons should be persecuted for asking. Persons shouldn't be persecuted for asking questions.
I agree. Leslie Whitecross.
I think that if we did the same volume of testing for anything, there'd be false negatives or positives or negatives. People are always wary of public health organizations.
Yeah, I think the questions are legit. I think people have a right to question. I think we've seen so much, and I say it all the time, from last year, March, or probably February, we've seen a lot of inconsistency. And yes, it's a time where people are under pressure, but it's times like this where we need to make sure that, the information that we're receiving, we need to question it. We need to, make sure that it is in our best interest and it is here to help us. So tough times. Again, about the football game, Bermuda, the result, don't let it, you go again, Tuesday come, just take it all out on Aruba, it's not.
But on the COVID end of this subject, I just feel, I don't know if you all disagree or not, but I just feel it's becoming obvious that it's wealth over health. Bermuda's had how many positives in the span of 3 days and no significant change. And I'm not calling for anything, but I'm just saying it doesn't seem like enough is going to be done. And so to me, I keep hearing wealth over health.
When you say wealth over health, you mean
keeping the economy going, as opposed to just, for example, shutting the borders. Like I've seen several people say, when is Bermuda going to shut down so we can get this under control? I mean, you've had over 100 positives over the span of 3 days. Wasn't it 41, 40, and 34? Like that's a lot.
I think I know who would disagree with you as how wealth over health. I think all these bars and restaurants who suffered, the hotels who suffered, I think they would highly disagree with you. And I think that's where I'm not making excuses for him. But I think that's where the premier is in that tough spot, because he's like, I'm trying to find this balance, and I don't think he's successfully found it yet. And so, I get you and I see where you're going, but I'm not quite sure the people who watch this show every day, like the Rick Olsons and Danny and his team and Lee Richardson down there, I don't think they'll necessarily feel like it's been, the wealth over the health. But I get it, because most people are saying, well, if it weren't about the economy, just shut it down and let it, die away.
Die out.
I'm not quite sure.
A lot of people can't afford another lockdown.
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And that's why I said that. I totally understand that.
So
all right, let's do a quick news break. We come back with Rusty G. And I mean, let's turn it up in here. Yeah. Carla, you can dance. No singing today, all right?
Sing away, baby.
Let her dance. I think she's got rhythm, but that voice, boy, here we go.
Around 9:25 on Wednesday evening, a two-motorcycle collision occurred near the junction of Palmetto Road and Roberts Avenue in Devonshire. It appears that a 58-year-old male was riding a black motorcycle east on Palmetto Road with a 44-year-old male passenger, and an unknown motorcyclist with an unknown passenger were traveling in the opposite direction along Palmetto Road when the unknown motorcyclist overtook a car and struck the side of the eastbound motorcycle, causing all four individuals along with both motorcycles to fall onto the road. It is understood that the unknown rider and the unknown passenger then got back onto their bike they were traveling on, continuing west along Palmetto Road. However, the rider and the passenger of the eastbound motorcycle, both said to be Devonshire residents, were hurt and transported to King Edward VII Memorial Hospital via ambulance for treatment. Both men sustained non-life-threatening injuries. It's not just Popeye who will be strong to the finish on Spinach Day. In fact, anyone who chooses to celebrate the day by consuming some of this leafy green plant will get to join in on the health benefits as well. Packed with nutrients such as iron, vitamin A, and calcium, spinach is known for being a healthy part of a balanced diet, but do we get enough of it? Well, that's what Spinach Day is all about. While it might seem a little far-fetched to spend the day celebrating the wonders of spinach, it's possible and can even be a load of fun. People who want to celebrate Spinach Day can employ a variety of ideas for ways to do the day. It just takes a bit of creativity. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high today of 74. Miami, Florida will see a high of 82, and Sheffield, UK, a high of 47. That's your Daily Hour news break.
What was special about today again, Carla?
It's Spinach Day, leafy green plants.
So you're gonna have like a green spinach juice today?
I eat spinach almost every other day.
Oh, check
Spinach
you.
salad.
I actually love spinach.
All right, Popeye. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back with DJ Rusty G after this. Stick with us.
Hi, I'm Karen, a nurse at the old folks home. These long hours used to kill my feet until my hairdresser told me about a great place to buy a pair of clogs. Medical House. Finally, relief. They also carry uniforms in bright, bold colors. And not to mention the support stockings.
Karen, Miss Soltis bet her bet again.
Oh gosh, these days, I need all the support I can get.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke.
Ginger was among the first spices to be used along with turmeric in prehistoric times. From the 1st century AD, ginger was eagerly pursued by traders who recognized the medicinal values of this ancient root and the appeal of its unique zingy flavor. And here in 21st century Bermuda, John Barrett & Son bring us this bold flavor with Barrett's Ginger Beer. Refreshing, spicy, and quintessentially Bermudian, and surprisingly versatile. This Easter, try preparing baked ham with Barrett's Ginger Beer glaze for your seasonal family feast. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
All right, welcome back to the big show. Carla Zul, Jackie Lambert, myself, Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82, where you can also watch this and many other locally produced shows if you have One Communications cable. Yeah, so Spinach Day. Jackie, you eat spinach?
I love spinach. It's so yummy. Like I do I saute it sometimes with onions, mushrooms, lots of garlic.
I'm actually, well, I asked that because I'm proud of Carla. You know what I mean? This is the avocado queen here. She, I didn't think she liked green things. So I'm what?
I ate sushi 2 days ago, and usually I poke out the avocado. So I usually end up with a pile of avocado on my plate. I ate the avocado as well, but I had to mentally act like it was something else. But
That's
I ate
me
it.
with bananas. That's me with bananas.
So I'm proud. I had 7 slivers of avocado the other day.
She's a strange one. All right, cool. Look, let's bring the Rusty G into the convo. I mean, we're not talking spinach and avocado anymore. Thank you. Rusty G, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
Morning. I hope you guys can hear me all well.
Oh,
That sounds beautiful.
We have you, man.
Right.
Look, let me just say, whenever one of you guys, when I say one of you guys, Jason, Juggling Jay, Bakari, yourself, come on. And this is no diss to the other people, but these guys are like energy people, they're hype people. I feel like it's gonna be a good day. Like it can't go down from here. So
all right, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, the energy, you guys just bring energy. But no, thank you for doing this. Honestly, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thanks for having me.
See your name everywhere. I can't go on Twitter a day right now without somebody, oh, walk up Wednesday with Rusty G or this or that. Which I honestly I think is great. But speak to us, Rusty, about how did it get started? Like what led to this?
Well, I mean, obviously I was listening to you guys talking about COVID and how it's affected everybody, and you know, us as DJs, entertainers as well. We've had to take things online. You know, I've been blessed with the ability to be able to hit radio, which a lot of people haven't been able to do. But you know, with me being able to use that as well to channel just that energy and try to keep things positive, you know, like at least with me, I always try to keep things positive all the time. Anytime you hear me on a set, I try to make sure that, you know, it's just about the music, it's about the vibe, and it's not really anything that's going to bring down somebody's mood, you know, because you got other things that you could be doing to bring your mood down, but that's not my job. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of moods, because you mentioned, you know, well, this last 12 months has been insane, right?
Yeah.
How has the last year been for you and your profession? Because I think with people being at home, they want like what Rusty G delivers. They want that energy. But how has it been for you on the other side, providing it?
Man, I mean, I would say that, you know, from what was it, like end of February, I want to say it was last year, when we was really getting the news that like this is serious and things were shutting down. And I saw my entire calendar, like we're talking 100, 120 plus gigs, like disappeared like that in the space of a weekend, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I'll be honest, me personally, it hit me, it affected me. You know, I was down, I was feeling all kind of anxiety. I don't know if, I haven't been, you know, diagnosed with depression or nothing like that, but I was feeling away, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people I'm sure were. And trying to navigate how to get back into it, how to figure out what we do. So it's like, you know, having some conversations with venues and restaurants and saying, well, you know, we can't do the nightclub thing, but what can we do? Well, we can do brunches, we can do lunches, we can do day things, we can do breakfast, we can do, you know what I mean? We can do all kinds of different stuff. So it's about really just getting creative. And so by the time March, April hit last year, you know, I was on Twitch and started doing radio more and different things like that. You know, it's just being creative and trying to figure out other means and other ways to still express yourself and still give that energy, still give that vibe, even if it's not what we're accustomed to. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So Rusty, as Jamal likes to say, can we switch gears for a second?
Sure.
So you left your job. I think it was at Hamilton Princess, the Golden Room.
It was Fairmont, Southampton. Yeah.
Southampton. To be a full-time DJ. What led to this decision, and what strategy did you grow it? Help you? What strategy did you use to grow into the best DJ around?
Got you.
Well,
I mean, thank you. I mean, I would say it was about 5 years ago when I actually made that move. But I was planning that move for maybe about 3 or 4 years before that. So basically, I think that a lot of people that do things on the side, whether it's a part-time job, whether it's, you know, it's a hustle or business, a lot of people maybe don't necessarily take the time to check the books, if you know what I mean. And what I decided to do was, like, you know, stop looking at it like a little part-time thing and say, let me really pay attention to what I'm spending on DJing and then what I'm making. And let me check the books for a couple of years and see if that's consistent. And if that's consistent, then I can make the decision. You know what I mean? But if it's not consistent, let me stick to the day job for a little bit longer. You know what I mean? Because Bermuda's expensive. We all got bills to pay. So, you know, that was a big thing for me, was like, it was really me taking my time and saying, you know, is this going to work? Is this consistent? You know, year one of me really paying attention to it, I was like, okay, this is cool, but don't quit that day job yet. You know what I mean? Year two was like, okay, well, you know, this is looking like, you know, we might be able to do this. And then by year three, I was like, all right, look, well, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Like, this is happening.
That's inspiring. We had Jalen Hines on the show discussing her music, and she mentioned how you were instrumental for her. As a DJ, how important is it for you to push and promote Bermudian artists?
Oh, man, I mean, that's a big part of what I do. I'll say hi to my dog, by the way. It's my dog, Bob.
On this show.
Yeah, famous in his own right. No, it's to me, it's important. I mean, I can't speak for all DJs. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know that for me, it's very, very important for us to push our own culture forward, to push our own music forward, to push our own people forward. You know what I mean? It's not easy for artists. It's not easy for entertainers to try to make their own lane. And, you know, I have a platform. I've been blessed with the ability to be able to reach people. And so it's part of my responsibility, in my opinion, for me to use that outlet to be able to help others, you know what I mean, to get to who they want to get to.
So people rave about you being one of the most versatile DJs. What's your favorite genre of music, and what is one that you stay away from playing?
I honestly don't have a favorite. If I can be honest with you, music to me really is about mood. So like I listen to different genres based on the mood that I'm in, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So if I had to choose, I would say dancehall.
Okay.
Is it anything that you choose?
Is it okay? So yesterday,
you sound like you don't believe me. You sound like you don't believe me.
Hey, look, she's thinking like everybody's in the back room, like he's gonna say soca.
Yeah, expecting me to say
no,
soca.
I listen. I'm team dancehall, right?
So
but what is it?
Let me say this, right? Is that I believe that I have a special connection to soca music, and I think that all people from islands have a special connection to soca music. And so to me, like there's a whole different vibe, a whole different energy that comes from soca. You know, like if you even trace the history of it back to Calypso, when you're talking about it was utilized and used by the slaves to communicate with each other, you know, to basically talk about the slave owners without them knowing. And then it evolving into social commentary used as the black man's or poor man's newspaper, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of history and there's a lot of culture behind soca that I feel connects us all. And so that's why, to me, like when it comes to soca and soca carnival and all of that stuff, us as island people, it resonates with us differently. But in terms of what I would listen to on my own free time when I'm just chilling or when I want to go out, when I want to turn up, it's dancehall.
Yeah.
So what about the one, because you didn't answer the second half, is there any genre when playing that you just stay away from?
Don't say country music. No,
classical?
No. I wouldn't say there's a genre I stay away from, but I gotta be honest, man. I'm not a line dance fan.
No
line. A what?
I'm not a line dance fan. So it's not a genre, but you know, electric slide, the wobble, cha-cha slide, you go down the list.
No, I thought you meant like the country line dance.
Nice. But me as a DJ, because I play it so much, like, you know, weddings and corporate functions, and everybody always wants to do those dances. So it's like, I'm just like, by the 5,000th time, like, all right, guys, I'm done. I'm done, you know, like, this is my coffee break. Like,
there's community dance outs, man. You know, like, look, almost like at every function, you have to play at least one of them, right?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I'm in the UK and they always say they do the candy dance, right? And I was like, what is that? And it's the electric slide, but it's the candy. So they call it, because they were like, you've never done the candy dance? I'm like, no. And when I see the movements, I'm like, oh, that's what we call the electric slide. So it's funny how the dances that drive you crazy have different names, so it can drive you crazy no matter where you are in the world.
I feel like line dances is when you pack up your equipment.
It is usually. But yesterday we had Danny O'Connor and Lee Richardson from Whitehorse, and they were saying that you've played a vital role in helping to establish the whole vibe and energy at the restaurant. Are there any other, you have a powerful, a great following. Are there any other places where people can catch you?
Yeah, I mean, currently I'm doing Friday nights at Pickled Onion. And then Sundays, I do as many as I can with Denny over at Whitehorse. You know, obviously coming down from a 5-6 day a week schedule to basically just here and there is tough. But I would say look out for more dates coming up. Hopefully, you know, as we get into May, when things start opening up a little bit and we try to get, you know, whatever piece of a summer we can really get, hopefully at least as good as we had last year in terms of like, it can't be worse than last year, if you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, but look out for a schedule that I'm hoping to be posting pretty soon about like where I'm going to be on a regular basis moving forward.
So I'm embarrassed, but I'm going to use the excuse that I'm in the UK, right? I have never been, and watch everyone start shouting at me because I've never been to a Connie game, but I've never been to a party that you've played at ever.
Just for real, ever.
Ever, but I'm going to switch that. I promise I'm going to
We gotta fix it. We gotta fix that.
But here's the thing. I do follow you on Twitter and I see that you have international acclaim. Like people love you from all over the world. Bermudians tend to love Bermudians, but love them more when they have international recognition. How do you feel that people outside of Bermuda really follow you and love you so much?
I mean, it's a humbling experience, and it just goes to show that when you I guess have passion for something, people can see that. You know what I mean? Like it's clear as day, and I feel that I have passion for music. I think that's obvious from anybody that knows me, anybody that sees me, anybody that hears me. So you know that resonates with people, not just here but anywhere. Anyone can relate to that. You know, so yeah, to the international supporters, salute to you guys. Hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be flying again soon to a city place near you. But you know, we've been parked for a year, so it's tough. It's tough.
Right. Okay. So Bermudian accent. Clearly, you are a Bermudian through and through, right? Some DJs go into character, and I always think it's funny because halfway they forget that they're whatever they're supposed to be, and then the Bermuda accent, then they flip back. I think that is so funny, right? But people have praised you for being authentic. Why don't you code switch?
Why don't I code switch? Meaning, why don't I do Jamaican? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, I can, and I do, but I choose not to. If that makes any sense. So you know, just like every DJ, I think in Bermuda, you know, we all came up through the sound business, the sound culture. We've all been influenced by Jamaica. We've all been influenced by reggae and dancehall. And I was in a sound for years before I decided to kind of break out and do my own thing. And it was a conscious decision that I made. I was like, you know, this ain't me. Like, you know, I could fake this funk for the rest of my life, but at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm gonna do this for real, and if I'm gonna be full time, and if this is, I just want to be able to be comfortable in my own skin. I don't want to have to be able to switch up who I am depending on who I'm talking to. So I just decided, you know what, man, let me just be me. And whoever accepts me for being me, I appreciate you. And if you don't, then it is what it is.
I think a term authenticity has been thrown out so much, especially during the pandemic. You know, you have people like Tabitha Brown, who's made a living, a killing on social media, just being her old Southern Self, when before she felt like moving from the South to the West Coast in California, she had to, you know, be different or act different to be accepted and grow in Hollywood. So I think what you're saying is so important. We had Dr. Curtis Tweed on last week, and she was actually speaking of code switching, right? And I like how you said, no, you tried it, you may have done it, but it was not you, and this is who you are. And I just think that's where we're heading in this world. Like, people want the real you. They don't want to feel like, hold up, so that's not how you really speak, or that's not who you are. And this is not to crap on people who do it. Let me be very
let's be clear about that, because especially if you're in the sound dancehall culture, it's critical for you to be able to deliver in that way. I mean, the Japanese do it, you know, the Italians, the Germans, all the people in the dancehall scene and the dancehall culture, they do it, and they do it very well. So it's not to, you know, disrespect anybody that does that. It's just, that's not my thing. Indeed. And it's as simple as that.
Indeed. We have a question from Robert Durham. He's asking, where does the name Rusty G come from, and what does it mean?
I wish there was some big crazy story I could tell you about it, but it's just a nickname. Rusty came from Russell. My real name is Russell Griffith. So it's back to authenticity. You know, like, that's what people's called me from the time I was young right up to now. So it is what it is.
So you've played, excuse me, on the international stage. Is there any place or gig that you haven't played that for you is like, I really want to do that, whatever it is, event, party, concert?
I don't think there's one particular gig, but I would love to do a festival, like a real EDM, electronic, fist pumping, 30,000, 40,000 people, that kind of festival. That's one thing that's on my bucket list that I want to say eventually I'm gonna get there.
That'd be sick.
Come to Manchester. Come do Park Life in Manchester.
Like I don't know if you guys know the Bermudian noise cans, but he toured with Steve Aoki and oh man, see, like I would love to just be on one of them stages one day.
Steve Aoki, I mean, crazy. If you don't never heard. And I was just I'm glad Carla asked that, because I've always heard of artists picking up residences in places like Vegas, right? And it, like, you know, you're huge. I remember, and just give a story. I remember when I was at Hot 107.5 and you came around and gave Teo, I think it was a CD back then. Was it CD?
It was CDs, yeah, man. I was pushing CDs hard back there. Like, I was struggling trying to get in, so everybody had to get a CD from me at that point.
I feel almost as old as Carla saying, you know, was it CDs back then? But no, I remember, and Teo said, look, this is great. Like, listen to this. And before you knew it, I mean, you were playing in the afternoon drive on Hot 107.5. But from then to now, just to see how you've evolved, I mean, I just can't see how people don't get Arno on board. Like, if you've heard this guy from then to now, it's just it's like watching a business, a startup grow to like this big IPO, and everyone wants a piece of it. So it's beautiful to see. And I really hope, you know, Jackie, I think you had mentioned something about you, Rusty, teaching classes, teaching people to DJ or something.
Yes, some younger students.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so a couple of things have kind of always been on my bucket list, and COVID, the blessing and the curse within itself. The number one thing on the bucket list was to learn how to produce music, how to make music. So I used the time very wisely to be able to finally say, look, this is something that I'm going to do for real, and I'm going to release some stuff. I'm going to do some things musically. One of the other things on the bucket list was to basically teach DJing. A lot of people ask me, you know, hey, what kind of equipment should I use? Or can you show me how to play? That kind of thing. Something that, you know, I don't know if I was too busy or I just was scared to commit to, you know, taking somebody on to show them that. But, you know, I've been doing it now, and I do have quite a few students. So salute to my students now that have signed up. I do courses, I do classes. I help them with pretty much every aspect that they want to learn, whether it's, you know, you just started, like you don't know anything about DJing, or if you've been doing it for a little while and you just kind of want to pick up certain skills, like all of that stuff in between. That's what I've been doing now recently, you know, with the time that I have, right?
Well, okay, so look, I'm got two students that I want to join your class. You heard of Salt and Pepper? Well, I'm got Flour and Sugar right here, Carla and Jackie. And I want to create their own.
Did not say Flour and Sugar. And here's the thing that what you don't know about me, Jamal, is that I always wanted to become a DJ. And when I had friends that had songs, like I would try to learn, because I just think it's so fascinating, the rhythm, how you make the music mix. I just love it. I just never pursued it, but I wanted to be a DJ.
What? Here's your channel.
And a singer.
Okay.
My throat's acting up, so I can't even drop no bars for him today. But
so, well, we gotta get you signed up there.
Don't scare the man off the show.
But here's the interesting thing. You know, I don't like him, Rusty, if you haven't figured it out.
Yeah, but I see the chemistry there.
Virtual. No, but seriously, I mean, with everything like you said, pandemic and curse. So if I wanted to do virtual lessons with you, is that possible? When you just tell me what what's the word? What apps or technology to get whatever, and we could do it that way. Like, we can definitely
make it happen. We can definitely make it happen. I mean, for me, it's like right now, in terms of talking about DJ lessons, I do it more like on a consultant basis. So it's like I really interview the person that wants to learn to find out how far they want to take it, how serious are you, because it's not a cheap thing to start either. You know, so it's like you can start out with equipment that's a couple $100, but you know, there's stuff out there that will cost you 10, 20 grand as well. So it's like, really, how much are you looking to invest? How much time? You know what I mean? It's all those different things that factor into whether or not you're going to be able to pick it up in a few months, or is it going to take you a few years, or maybe should you try something else? You know what I mean?
I mean, like she's trying to get her to do her singing, but no, I'm
still laughing at Flour and Sugar.
Well, I mean,
did you just make that up today? Is that a new thing?
That's the first time we ever heard it. So, see, your inspiration.
I thought that was an ongoing thing that you guys just, Flour and Sugar on the show.
No, they're a great combination, but Salt and Pepper was taken, so I didn't, you know. written up for copyrights. But look, I want to talk about the whole Twitch thing, because we've had so many people go on Twitch after Facebook started doing certain things and take people off. How has growing a Twitch following, like you've grown a Twitch following, what have you done to grow that? And like you said, you still, you're on radio, which has been helpful for you as well. But what, looks like you've built a studio at home. Like, talk to us about the growth.
Well, I mean, so this has been my home recording studio from before the pandemic, right? But when it came to Twitch, I wasn't even looking at Twitch as an option. That wasn't even a thing for me. I knew about it because of gamers. So I know gamers, and I know that Twitch has been a live streaming thing for many, many years. But as all the other DJs, we was on IG Live. We was doing the IG Live thing, and everybody was enjoying IG Live when the pandemic first hit. The problem with IG Live for someone like me is that a lot of the music that I play, especially mainstream music, if you're talking any new hip hop, any new trap, anything mainstream at all, that gets flagged by the algorithm is going to shut you down and shut your stream down. So I was trying to do live streams, and it's like, I'll be 3 songs in, I'm getting shut down every 3 songs. I'm like, yo, this ain't working. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do this. So that was when I did some research and found out that Twitch was a good spot. Twitch was consistent, could get a better quality stream. Also, it's a better platform for support. So I mean, Twitch streamers can and do get paid for doing Twitch. So by me doing and moving all of my stuff onto that platform, it pays for some gas money. It's not buying me a new wardrobe or anything crazy, but it's putting a little bit of money in the pocket as opposed to no money in the pocket. So it was a no-brainer for me at that point.
Indeed. We have Dijon Simmons asking, what's next for Rusty G? Any new music coming from RTWOG2?
That's a great question. So that's actually my producer name. R2G2 is my producer name. So I've released a couple of records since November, and I've got some new stuff coming up. Hopefully at the end of this month, man. I don't want to say too much about it yet, but I hopefully people are gonna love it. I think people will. I will say I'm working with an artist on the island by the name of Firewayne. Some people may know him. So we got something coming pretty soon.
All right.
Wop wop.
Yeah. If you know him from the Wop Wop and the Wednesday Night Vibes and to the Gambes and all of that there. So yeah, we've been working on something for a little while, and I think it's finally ready to roll. So look out for that coming soon.
Tell them let's have it. I think we're all looking forward to that. Rusty, so look, people can catch you on Vibe 103. What days and times?
So as of right now, funny, we've been talking about the pandemic and all this stuff. I'm actually stuck on a mandatory quarantine due to a close contact. So you can't catch me on Vibe until April 6th. But after April 6th, it's 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 3 to 6, and then Saturdays from 2 to 4.
All righty. We have a question from Michelle White says, is Rusty G a musician? If so, what instrument? I think people are looking at that piano in back of you, bro.
I wish I could play. So there's a piano and there's a guitar. I got the guitar a couple of weeks ago. So to answer your question, I will be a musician and I will be able to play this keyboard and this guitar properly soon. But right now, no. I am a producer. I'm not a full-blown musician yet.
All right. I mean, Carla, look. We should take some musician lessons. I mean, singing hasn't quite worked out for us. Maybe Jackie, look, we can be like,
I can sing. I'm an amazing singer.
If you let me finish, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say, Jackie can sing, we can play instruments, and then Rusty could drop some dubs for us. And so, look, I think we're gonna
I can rap too, Ask my littlest son.
Let's hear it.
He's like, Mommy, drop
talk
something.
About it, be about it.
In a minute.
Let me hear it.
Let's hear it.
Are we talking like Sugar Hill Gang type of rap, or what kind of rap are we talking?
Jamal always cracking these old jokes. I can't do it on these spots.
Boom, boom, boom.
Ready?
I want to hear it. Let's hear it. Let's go.
Let's see. It's the Daily Hour. We're lots of fun, and Jackie and I are going to win number 1. Jamal's always cracking these jokes about me, but he's such a little shorty.
Yes.
That was definitely Sugar Hill Gang all the way through.
Rusty.
If you knew how old I was, it makes so much sense.
Flow 1980s flow never hurt nobody.
Rusty, look.
You asked for it.
They-
I
they
have to
did-
rise for a challenge.
Rusty, we did ask you, right?
Mad.
What genre of music you try to avoid? And you didn't say nursery rhymes, which is what Carla just sounded but I'm pretty sure if you do nursery rhymes, that probably the catalog. But, this is what Flour and Sugar have to offer everybody. If you're looking for some people,
She started it. She beatboxed.
Oh, Jackie,
I'm not gonna
Jackie,
I mean, two guys and I'm a wicked MC. Somehow I always end up with a mic in my hand.
yeah.
This is true. This is true. Jackie does turn up. Jackie does turn up. I can speak to that.
Look, I think we're right. I think what we're gonna do is Carla's gonna sing this new intro to the Daily Hour, and we're gonna get Rusty G to produce. Rusty G is gonna produce the new intro with Carla rapping. My
Oh,
host.
send me that audio.
Okay.
And we'll make it happen.
All right. So what we're gonna do, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna test that new intro with Carla rapping, and if and nobody's tuning in after the intro plays, then we're just gonna, we're gonna,
Toonie and funny intro.
yeah.
You
Oh, look,
are
Rusty,
making me stupid. Oh my god, that's funny.
honestly, bro, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me today.
From back when, but I want to share an interesting fact, if you don't mind me saying this.
Sure.
I'm going to say this. We've had husband and wife teams on this show. We've had siblings on this show, but I believe you coming on as the first father-son duo, as your father was one of the first people to come on the show. So here's the test to everyone. Here's the test to the audience. His father was actually one of the first people, if not the first person after Dr. Smith, we asked to appear on this show. Can anyone tell us who Rusty G's father is?
I
And
will reveal it, but I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Somebody knows, I'm sure.
he was very instrumental in Bermuda's success at one point, and I'll just leave it at that. I'll let Rusty G go, but I'll give you all a chance to let us know who his father was. Rusty, we'll be in touch because we definitely want to have you back. We have a lot more to discuss, especially when things open back up. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you very much. You guys
Have a
enjoy
good
your
day.
weekend, all right?
Be
Have a good
safe.
All right. DJ Rusty G, everybody. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with Flour and Sugar. Stick with us. At Bermuda Communications Group Limited, we love to help businesses and organizations of all sizes across various industries. Find out how we've been working with our clients to improve their customer experience and increase their revenue. Send us an email to contact@bermudacommunications.com to see how we can assist you next. All right, welcome back to the big show. Carla Zul, Jackie Lambert, I'm Jamal Hart. What you laughing at, Flour?
Because people are messaging me and they're like, that rap, sis.
It was awesome, Carla. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Don't put me in a challenge. You know I'm going to rise up to it.
No, we might have to find you an opponent to have a little rap off and see what's that called? Wasn't it like a competition show? What's it called? Battle rap?
Wilding out.
Wilding out. That could be. I don't know. I'm not a rap.
I thought it was battle rap. But
Battle rap. Oh, okay. You're closer to it. So Rusty G Senior is not his father.
I like Mark. He's my new bestie.
I mean, they go by Rusty G Senior, but Billy Griffith, yes, Mr. William Griffith is his dad. Mr. Griffith was the former director of tourism in Bermuda, and then went on to Barbados and led them to a lot of success that the heights of which Bermuda has not reached, but I believe Bermuda will reach very soon. So that is DJ Rusty G. So they are the first father-son duo to come on the Daily Hour. Very.
I didn't know that was his dad.
Huh?
I didn't know that was his dad, but when you actually questioned the obvious connection, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find a way to get my dad on her so I could be the second.
Yeah. Well, let's have it, Jackie. Let's have it.
Really?
Okay,
I'll
more than one, Lambert.
He
Look,
likes to talk, you know.
we love to have conversations. Look, we got the Daily Plate. It's number one answers only. Folks, stick with us. They need your help. They need your help. All right. First question. Name
GG, guys.
that can cause an argument when you're playing a board game?
Cheating.
That's number one, Jackie. You got it.
Monopoly. People are always cheating in Monopoly.
You cheat in Monopoly?
No, that's why the argument starts. I am honest.
All right. Jackie got the first one. So cheating was the number one answer. Number two was playing out of turn. Number three, game tips over. Like, I'll accidentally push the game over if I'm losing. Double. Oh yeah, I don't lose. Double jump. Making up rules. You always got that family member that says that's not how we play. They have their own rules to the game. Yep. And then
I keep Roblox closed.
Oh, that's what you do. Yeah, just a cheat.
I'm like, look. Number three said.
So you write the answer.
No, I'm talking about Monopoly, and even I play Sequence as well. I am so good at Sequence.
I haven't played a board game in about 20 years. That's why I couldn't answer.
20 years.
Shut up, Jamal.
Name something you'd hate to happen to your taxi on the way to the airport.
Breakdown.
Flat tire.
I think both of those are right. The number one answer was car trouble. So yeah, those were right. Number two was get in accident. Number three, stuck in traffic. And number four, get lost. All right, final one. Help them out, folks. Please let them just be.
I got stuck in traffic last year.
Let them be righteous with this answer, folks. Let them be righteous with it, please. Let them be righteous.
I'm scared.
Here we go.
Hold on, let me pray real quick.
Yeah, you do that. Name something that people eat raw.
Onions.
Celery.
Celery. Yeah, I would say celery. People eat raw. Tomatoes. Tomatoes is number one.
Onions.
I say onions.
Fish?
No.
Yes. Seafood.
Sushi?
Seafood is number one. Vegetables number two. You all had that.
But we say vegetables. Onions are vegetable.
No. I said you said vegetables, but that's not number one.
Number two.
Under the purpose of the show, number one only. So you got it. Seafood. Fish. Look, folks, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give us a thumbs up, smash a like, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let us know how you felt. Awesome having DJ Rusty G on. It's just like this. That's the definition of an entrepreneur, a person that literally took a risk, went out on their own to, make something that and he didn't. I like how he said it. Oh, I didn't just go out and go full time. I actually, over the years, I looked at my books and whether it made sense and so on.
That was a nugget right there.
Yeah, strategy to it. Like some people think, people just go out on their own. No, this guy had a plan, folks. Any final thoughts on today's episode, Carla?
Have some daily inspiration for you.
Well, give me your final thoughts on today's episode first.
Oh, awesome. And Flour and Sugar is dropping an album near you.
I'm so excited because Jamal's actually going to be our songwriter.
You notice he didn't like the rap, so it ended about him.
And
Focus.
What are your thoughts on today's episode, Sugar?
I really enjoyed it. It started off a little, interesting. But
with Coach Lightborn?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Coach Lightborn. Leave Coach Lightborn alone. But
I like Coach Lightborn. Got a good funny story about him.
Or don't tell it.
No. It's not like that. It's not like that. No, I really enjoyed it. Rusty has so much energy, and I've been following him for years and partying with him for years. And I just hope that we get back to him being able to take over Newstead again, because those were the best happy hours, honestly. This is so much fun.
I need to get in his presence.
We definitely Newstead's a happy hour jam. Carla, we need daily inspirations. We have to head out.
Sure. Ambition is priceless. It's something that's in your veins. Wale.
All right, check her using little younger rappers and stuff. He's a rapper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I got to double check. I'm not as young as I once was, so I'm not in tune with who's a rapper and who's not anymore. But Wale is the guy that sings. What does he sing?
I can't remember offhand, so you don't want me to try. But yeah, he's very intellectual. I love this.
All righty. Well, look, folks, it's been an awesome week. We have a very short week next week, only about 3 episodes because I'm going on a staycation and these guys need a break as well. And it's Good Friday, so we're gonna fly kites and eat
Eat
fish
fish
cakes,
cakes.
hot cross buns, and Jack is probably going to make some for us and send them to Carla and I. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House One Communications and Lindos, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you next week. Carla Zul, Jackie Lambert, I'm Jamal Hartman. You want to tell them have a great weekend, or you want to spend it?
Have a great
Have a great
weekend.
weekend. Look at that.
And if see you on Monday.
Flowing. Go ahead now, dude.
Harmony. Harmonize.